Hello everyone, I'm Joseph. I'm an Odoo developer and I was a former member of a point of sale team. I recently joined the AI team, and here I would like to present you um, a guide on how to develop modules using AI features. It's not me developing modules with Claude Code or anything. Basically, the feature will be using AI. All right. So you may scan the QR code for questions later on. Yeah. So this will be a simple talk, and we'll start with some introduction, and then show you some building blocks that you might need for your feature, and we will be developing a feature. We'll show you how it works basically. First, we will describe the specification, and then finally the implementation. You will see it. Okay. So we'll be seeing code in this presentation. Is everybody hearing me? Yeah. All right. So basically, Odoo 19 introduced a new set of features, as you know already from the keynote. So we have the UI navigation using natural language, information retrieval, voice transcription, live chat, and etc. Okay, all of these are accomplished without training any models. So this is a disclaimer. Odoo isn't training models. We are just consumers, basically, at the moment. All right? And here are some building blocks that you might need to do. You might need to use later on when you develop new features. We have this request LLM function, which is exposed via the LLM API service in the AI module. And it basically encapsulates the query processing loop that allows tool calling. So most of the LLMs now can perform tool calls. It's not only just a chat between the user and the AI, but now it can perform. Most of them can perform tool calls. Okay, and this is the lower level method. Basically, in the AI agent model that we introduced in Odoo, we have this generate response, which includes RAG and which includes RAG in the query processing. So it uses the request LLM. So it will be helpful if I show you an illustration on how these things work. All right. So this is a diagram of the request LLM. Okay. So here you can see from the top the inputs. All right. So you see the LLM models, basically which model you would like to use. Odoo only supports for now GPT models and Gemini models. All right. And here the prompts. So you construct your own user and system prompts to use this LLM loop, basically, and the tools that you want the processing to be used. All right. So, okay, and then the schema. This schema is the output schema of this whole thing. So I don't know if you all know that LLM can also support schema on their return value. So it's not only text. Sometimes it can give you a structured output if you ask it to. All right. All right. So this is the entry point. So you have all of this input. You construct it. Okay. You pass it to the request LLM module. Method, and then API. We will perform an external API call. Okay. To the AI. So this is the AI API. It will, we basically massage the inputs so that it matches the API requirements depending on which you pass it to, whether you're passing it to Gemini or you're passing it to ChatGPT. Okay? And then here we will wait for response. So Odoo will wait for the response, and then the response normally asks whether there is a tool call or not. Okay, so here if you give some tools, the AI may request you to call these tools, all right? And these tools are executed on the server. So you provide the tools. These tools actually you define in the server, and then the AI will ask you to run these tools. Basically, allowing the AI to perform a call on your place, from your place, okay, from your server, basically. All right. Okay. Now, if there are no tool calls, it means it's already giving you a response. All right. So it's either or. All right. So here we end. We get the final response, and then the processing ends. However, if it asks for a tool call, we will have to perform the tool call here at this point. So we will execute, we will run this method that the AI asks us to run. And then this is just an optimization flag we introduced. But basically, we execute the tool. You can forget this at the moment. And then after executing this tool, we return to the AI, okay? We perform another API call, all right, with the result of the tool call, okay? So the AI requests for tools, we execute the tool calls, we have the return value, and then we give it back with all of the references that regarding this tool calls. And then this is a loop, okay? So it's a loop until the AI isn't asking any more tool calls, right? Until it, and then here we get the final response. Okay, we have this end message. This end message basically is like a short circuit. So sometimes it is undesirable to make API calls again. All right, it is not efficient in a way. So, so to prevent this last API call, we just ask the AI to give its final message when making the tool call through this parameter end message. So, and then instead of making another API call, we basically end the loop, and then we now have the response coming from this end message. Okay. All right. So that's how we created the loop, tool call loop that we use in Odoo. Okay, in the AI features that we implemented here in Odoo. All right. Now we go to the next one. Okay. So as I said, the second building block is the one from AI agent. So here. So the first one, the AI agent model that we have that you have in your database isn't used yet. Okay, so in the AI agent model has some information from it. Maybe I need to remind everyone about it because. Okay. All right, so you have Odoo, and then there will be an AI app here, and then from here you can configure AI agents. All right, and AI agents is like so we introduced this model to abstract how an agent behaves. Okay, so in this case we do have this Odoo compliance assistant. Here we specify the model, right? And then some response style. This, in fact, for GPT-5, this is no longer useful. And here some restrict sources, whether the AI will only be restricted to the to answer questions out of this documents here. But the most important part here is that we have a section for topics, and then we have a section for system prompt, and then section for sources. Okay, so these are important parts of an AI agent. Now the thing is, with the request LLM, we don't encapsulate all of this, okay? But through AI agent, we are going, these parts of the user can now configure the AI to have this customized behavior, okay? To customize based on the documents you provide to it, okay? Now, and how does RAG involved in this? It's through the documents that you give in the AI agent. All right. So you have this AI agent configuration. You provide it documents, and then when you ask questions to the AI, we process this. We take information from it, and then we put it in the context of the processing. But so what you should remember here, an AI agent has the model and then has the document sources. Okay, that's what we will remember for now in this part of the talk. Okay, so we go back to the diagram of the generate response from the AI agent. Through the AI agent, we give it the prompt, all right, and some chat history if there is, and then extra context. Okay, so it's a bit more flexible. So this method has more flexibility than we still provide flexibility by giving it an extra context here. Okay, when we call it, okay, we build the system context, the full system context, and the full system context. I didn't show it here because I thought it's not going to be relevant. I thought this part is the most relevant part. But the system context comes from here. One here, and then from the topics linked to the AI agent. Okay. And all right, now okay, we build this context out of the agent, out of the topics introduced to it, and then from the sources, we also get some information. Okay, so this is a bit involved. This is the RAG part. Okay, so hopefully, I really hope some of you all have some background on it. But what we do is that from the prompt, from this prompt here, okay, we get the embedding, okay, so we get the prompt embedding, and then we look for similar chunks out of this, okay, out of this document. Out of this document, we look for similar information from there, and then we put that similar information to the system context, and then that's the information. That's all the information we give to the request LLM, and then the request LLM undergoes the same loop as we discussed a while ago from this part. And note here, request LLM, as you remember, there are tools. Okay, so the tools are actually coming from the topics that we put here. So the topics encapsulates the tools. But in this development, we won't be using this part. We'll be handcrafting the tools that we pass to the LLM. All right. So that out of the way, this course, or basically, yeah, this talk will be focusing on development using request LLM. Okay. So let's set the expectation a bit lower because this is more involved, the generate response. So request LLM is our target for today using this thing. All right. Okay. So we'll be doing some live code, quote unquote, because I'm not typing it. I'll be checking out to do different commits. But yeah, first we'll describe what the feature we're going to implement. Okay. So so my proposal here is to improve the convert to task from the help desk app. All right. So I'm guessing most of you are familiar with this. Not really, because it's a hidden button. So there's a button from the help desk app that converts a ticket into a project task. Okay, let me show it to you. So it is this guy. Sorry. Help desk, tickets, and then out of the ticket you click one, and then here the convert to task. Okay. So we'll be looking into this part of the feature. All right. So it's very targeted. Okay. So that it is quite simple and easy to understand how this request LLM works and how are we going to utilize it. So it's very targeted, and so we try it again. We go here, we go to the tickets, we click one of it, and then here we convert it to task. Right. So from here, if we click convert, it becomes a task in the projects app. all right? That will be handled by your employee or users, basically. Okay. All right. So so for specificity, so to be more specific, we want automated assignment of the project field. So we go back to it, convert, and then here we want this to be automatically assigned. All right. From here we have a list of items, and sometimes you don't want to bother to be reading on the description of the ticket and some other information here, and sometimes we just want to convert the task with the correct project on it. All right. So that's the goal. So we would like this project field to be automatically assigned. So the details of the specification will be, we will introduce a button, okay, auto assign with AI button in this wizard. So it was a wizard, and then when we click the button, it should assign the appropriate project for it with some degree of uncertainty. All right. Okay. So we can proceed. All right. We'll be doing it in steps so that we can see the code, so that we can see how the code progresses. All right. Okay. So I will start with bootstrapping the module. Okay. All right. So here, so we will be creating a new module. It will be called, okay, so maybe it will be helpful if you, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so we will be creating a new module. So these are the information that the module needs. It will be dependent on the project help desk and AI, all right? And then we are in particular on the wizard, okay? So this is about the wizard here, right? So we will look into the wizard data, and I just put some default values there, okay? So the most important part here is that it depends on AI, and then the project help desk, and then we know here it's very explicit that we'll be tapping into the wizard. Okay, and then we are introducing the model, all right, here. So for now, so the name of the wizard is help desk ticket convert wizard, but we won't be implementing it at this point. No implementation yet. But if we are going to reload the app, sorry, if we are going to install the app, okay, so hopefully it works. So we have everything set up. We have the manifest. We have the, sorry, I forgot to mention. So we would introduce a new button to the wizard. So here what I did is I looked into the project free field and then replace it with this, with the label, the field, and then the extra button that is linked to the action that it needs to run when you click it. Okay. So now I think it loaded already. So, okay, so now we have the button, all right? Okay, if I click it, it will be a traceback because it's not yet implemented according to the code that we have now, all right? So far so good. It's just the basic Odoo that we all know, right? So we have a view, we expat, and then we put the buttons in there. Okay. Next, we go to the next step is implementing the auto assignment. Okay, so this will be a bit, this will be more code. All right. So first we'll look into the commit. And this is the commit change, okay? It's basic. It changes the whole file. So we'll just be opening the whole file and then looking into its content, okay? But the more important thing here is that this is the method that we assign to the button, all right? And then you will see request LLM somewhere here. Okay, so it's a bit too far to go to here, right? So it's a bit involved. There are so many things that has to be written first before you can call request LLM. All right, but maybe we can start from here and then see how it maps to the diagram that I showed you. Here we'll be using the LLM model, GPT-4o, and then this is the system contains we pass the system prompt, and then we pass the user prompt here, and then the response schema. Okay, and then now we one by one we look into all of these things. Okay. All right. So let's go. So the most important information that we will give to the AI is the ticket itself. Okay. So this method gives the ticket. All right. So that's the one you click on. All right. And then we will just be processing the only one ticket for now. But in fact, in some use cases, you are in the list view, and then you basically trigger the action. So it would be nice to update this to perform batch processing. Okay, but for now we do it one by one. Okay, and then we look into the projects where this ticket can be assigned to. At this stage, normally the projects is not really a lot, okay, in your database. So this is let's say in the range of hundreds, okay, of projects. But in this demo database, there are only 4 projects. So so here we get all the projects, and then here we construct the table. Okay, this part here is optional. It's up to you whether you give it a JSON. In my case, I opt on using table because it reduces the amount of tokens you gave to the AI. So with JSON, the keys are repeated per record. All right, but with tables, the table column names are only listed at the top, and then you have a rows of objects, and the table names are not repeated per record. Okay, so here this is optional. It is required that you give the text, okay, but it is optional that you use a table or CSV to represent the data. Okay, all right, and then here we give it the ticket names going to be the subject of the ticket, and then the ticket description also coming from the description field. And finally, we take the tags, all right? And yeah, so the system prompt. Okay, this is the part where you tell the AI that you are something, okay? And that way, I think of this as a way for an LLM to basically to basically have a region of its knowledge, and then become it, right? So it's restricting its capability. Okay, so system prompt is like this. You are an assistant helping to categorize support tickets, blah blah blah. All right, and then here for the user prompt, what we do is we provide the information. Okay, the ticket subject, the description, and then the tags, and then we also provide here the projects themselves. Okay, this is the table we constructed above here. So now you have the ticket information, you have the available projects, and then here you teach it, you tell it what to do. For example, this is a heuristics. So normally you program it by code, but here you can just tell it, okay? You tell it that, okay, align yourself to the subject matter, and then look into if there is a technical domain match, and then the tag relevance, and then finally you give it, you ask it to return the project ID, okay? And here we have the response schema. So this is JSON schema. You don't need to memorize this. You can just ask any AI to generate this for you, okay? And basically here we have the project. So we are asking the AI to give you the project ID. You are also asking it the reasoning and then some confidence, okay? I put reasoning here. I forgot to remove, but it's not being shown anymore in the app. But this is the expected information from the AI, all right? And we can provide the schema. So it's also good to remember that you can ask AI to format its response to you, okay? It's not only text. Sometimes you can also ask it to give this schema, and then it will format its answer to you, all right? So given all of this information, we now look into the response. The response is an array of the API calls, and here actually it should be the last response that we want, but in this case there are no tool calls, so it's only one call. So no tool calls, so it will be one call, and then the return will be the response. All right. So it's a string, so we will have to convert it into JSON, and remember the format is going to be like this. All right. Otherwise it will fail. Okay. And then now we have the project ID from the result here. We check first if it's really a project from your database. Otherwise, you raise an error. And then we assign it to the wizard, to the project ID field of the wizard. Okay. And then finally, we return some notification. So if you can remember an action button in Odoo, if you click, if it returns an action, it will perform the action again. All right? It will perform the return action. In this case, we are returning a display notification, and these are the information we give it to project. This is the title, and then it will say the selected project with some confidence level. And finally, here I just learned that if you do this, it will refresh the wizard. All right? Yeah. So we have the params next. If you do this, it will refresh the wizard. It will be. This is a good thing for the feature. All right? Okay. So we can test this out. So we will try this. Okay, chair wheels aren't working, and then we just click this button. Hopefully it works, and then it auto assigns to office design. Okay. For now, I would just trust that it's correct. But here's the part of the notification. It says project auto assign. It selected the office design project, and it's some confidence. I don't trust this actually. I'm just showing it to you that you can ask it, but never trust this confidence level. All right, but yeah, it can do it. It can crunch text. It can compare things. It can decide for you. You give it some instruction, and then you have this result. Okay. So I'll convert, and then it will, it puts it to the design, and now we are in the projects, okay? And then we have the description here. All right. So that's the initial implementation. We can go further using tools, okay? So The question is, how would the tools be useful for this feature? We could look into the service level agreements, actually, maybe, and then maybe auto-assign some other fields, basically. So we'll see. So we'll tackle the improvement with the tools and see how we go further. All right. All right. So the intention of the next step is basically to have more configuration on the project that we create. Okay. So one is, what if we could also auto-assign user? All right. And also we could put the deadline based on the service level agreement, and then some priority based on the priority of the ticket. All right. So here we will be adding new fields in the form view in the wizard. So user ID, date, deadline, and then the priority, and then we will see that they will be used in the creation of the new project task. Okay. So this has more code. So but we will see the diff from the original code. All right. So we are now seeing the code based on the previous code that we have written. Okay. So we will look into the tools. Okay. First. So these are the tools that I introduced, and then later on we make sense why we introduced these tools. Okay. So let's use the tools as the starting point. So here we introduce a tool called get ticket SLA info. All right. So the idea is, so a tool is composed of a name of the tool. So the AI will have to know which name the tool has to be called. The second one is the description. All right. And then and then the third one is here. This is the end message part of the diagram that I showed you before. For now, we won't allow it to give an end message on this tool. Okay. The fourth one is the logic. So this is the logic, and then the fifth one is the schema of the parameter of the method that will be called. Okay. So this get ticket SLA info needs a ticket ID. All right. So when the AI asks for this, asks to call this method, it has to give this ticket ID. All right. It has to give this, and I believe we provide this ticket ID somewhere in the context. Okay. Okay. The second one, get project users workload. Okay. So now I think it makes sense now. I think we are now making sense of the next part of the next improvement. It's basically we give the AI to know, we provide the AI to know which users are overloaded, and then or not overloaded, and then the AI will assign which user is not overloaded to the project. Okay. So yeah. So here, get project users workload, it will need the project ID. Okay, and here you will see that it needs a project ID. The project ID is not yet there, right? You have the form, the project ID is not yet there. So this is the part that the AI also decides what needs to put in this method. All right. All right. So now we have the tools. Okay, and we also ask it to change the schema of its response to give the user ID that the AI chose, all right, during the loop, the deadline, and then the priority. All right. And then here, so we basically just post-process the return of the AI, saying, okay, so this is the user that you give. We check it first before we assign it to the view. This is the deadline. We convert it into something that we understand, because most of this are actually text. And then finally the priority, and then we assign it to the, all of this we assign to the wizard in order to render it properly. Okay? Yeah. And I think that's the bulk of it. But of course, you made changes, you introduced tools. Then you also need to ask the AI to update the way it thinks, to update the way it processes the information it can get to you. Okay? So here we change the system prompt. We say these are the tools that you can use. Use it with care. Use it if you need to, basically. And then we also give it some guide on the workflow, on how to process the information it has, and then finally make the decision. All right? Okay, so out of this, maybe I will update again. I need to update again the app. All right. So we can look at this, yeah, maybe this one. And then we try again the feature. So here it's assigned to home construction, because this is the first project. But if we click auto assign, we hope that all of this information will have values. Yeah, so it determined that mark demo is not overloaded, so it assigned it to the guy. Okay. Oh, I think we forgot to look into the tools that we created. We can look at them very quickly. So this is the SLA tool. So we just basically say this is the deadline, this is the priority of the ticket, and then does it have a service level agreement? Whether should it be done very quickly? Okay. And then the project user workload, we look over the users from the project's app, okay, and then we just count the tasks that they have, that each user has, okay. This is bad code, by the way. So if you see search in a loop, just use read group. All right. So you see a bad code here. Yeah, and so that's how we decided on assigning Mark Demo, because Mark Demo has a less task than Mitchell Admin. Okay? All right. Okay, so maybe we can, there's still another level that I think it is important for every one of us, okay? Because in this part of change that I showed you, there's a mistake here, okay? It's going to be a common mistake when you want to introduce tools, all right? So if you want to introduce tools, you will encounter this mistake, but I will show it to you now. Hopefully you won't repeat it, okay? The problem is this tool, okay? So this tool is dependent on the ticket ID, okay? The ticket we already know before sending it to the AI, okay? Before sending it to the AI, we already know this ticket ID, okay? So instead of giving this tool to the AI so that the AI can call it, why not we just call it immediately and then put the result in the system context? Because we know it already. There's no point on asking the AI to call it, all right? But the second one is very important. It's very dynamic. It changes depending on when the AI calls it, all right? So and also it depends on the project that it chose. Okay, so here, so the next exercise, which is the final change that we are going to make, is to remove this tool call, because as discussed, as we agreed, I think everybody agrees that this is wrong, definitely wrong. We already know it will be called anyway. Put it in the context. All right. So sorry. Before we check the UI, we need to look on the changes. All right. Okay. So this is the major change. I removed the tool, the get ticket CLA, and this information is now computed the time you click. Okay, the time you click, you compute it. We compute it, and then we add it. We add the info. So we have this information, and then we add them here. Everything in the context or on the main prompt. Okay, all right, and then now we can get rid of the tool. There's only one tool for this feature now. Okay, and yeah, that's it. And then maybe some changes in the system context, because now, okay, you only have one tool. Don't forget to remove the one that you mentioned in the system prompt, and then that's it, basically. All right. So here we remove this. We compute the information we can get from it, from the click, immediately at the click. We change the system context, and then we input the information to the main prompt, and then we update this list of tools. Okay? And I guess we can start testing. It should still behave similarly from the previous. So you still have the thing here. And then now you can convert it to task if you want to. Okay. So that's how you implement a feature using a feature that utilizes LLM. Okay, the capabilities of LLM. And but in fact, that's in a way a low-level way of doing it. You could the tools that we made are declared. Sorry, where are the tools? Yeah. So these tools are formatted for the request LLM, but in fact, there are other ways to introduce tools. Okay. As I told you, so from the AI agent model, we can assign topics to it. Okay. And in fact, the topics we can think of it as a collection of tools, and we can assign server actions to the topic, and then if the server action is properly constructed, then it will be able the AI will be able to use it. But that is only when you use AI. This one. Only when you use the chat or a particular agent for your feature. You could define this. You could define something, a hidden agent, give it some capabilities, give it a topic, and then hide its implementation, and then use it in the background. And then once you have this AI agent that are configured with topics, with all of the information it needs, the topics has tools, then we can go back to the this one. Then you can use the generate response. All right, the generate response now utilizes all of the configuration you put to the AI agent together with the server actions that you define that can be used as tools. Okay, it is actually, I won't discuss it, but maybe later on my next talk, show you the IR actions as tools. All right, and that's it for me.
Very interesting AI talk.
Thank you.
It seems super cool feature that we're going to get to use and build in Odoo. The audience has got some questions.
That's a lot.
So the first one is, can you share your slides?
Yes. Yes.
Wait.
I will share my slides. Can I make it now?
I guess we could do it after. You can.
Okay, I'll do it after.
Okay.
I will share it in the pad. I will share the link to the slides in the pad.
Okay, the next question is the loop of the LLM request based on MCP, or the list of tools to being called is scripted and run sequentially? Is it MCP or is it scripted and run sequentially?
MCP. So we are not performing MCP basically, but the tools we provide is compliant with MCP. Okay, so in a way, it's only one layer before becoming MCP, these tools that we declare. All right? And as for the sequential, I think you are talking about whether these tools can be called sequentially or in batch. You can ask the AI to run the tools in batch if the tools are independent. Okay? But you need to be explicit on this because the AI is a bit stubborn. We have experience on this. Even if the tools appear to be independent, it will run it sequentially, and then you will end up with a stack of API calls that can be reduced to like much less if it called it in batch.
Okay, so we're compliant with MCP. So the next question is, are there plans for providing MCP for access from the outside?
Tricky question. I don't know. I have no answer to that. We haven't experimented on it. We were asked to experiment on exposing all of the RPC endpoints, but it doesn't seem to be feasible. But we'll see how it will be done. But I think it's a good step to provide MCP server for Odoo.
Okay, the next question is, at the moment, is there some way for agents to interact with each other?
No, at the moment, no. We've been reading some. It's a difficult workflow to implement, and there are protocols out there. Maybe we will be compliant on the new agent client protocol, or was it from Z? I forget about it, but it seems interesting. But yeah, we don't have agent. What did it say?
Agents to interact with each other.
Agents interacting with each other. Not at the moment.
Is it not risky to get the wrong result, especially for the live support? How is this solved?
Oh no, this one we didn't. I explicitly put the button there and not make it call the action by default immediately. So there's still a layer that the user sees the result. You see, you click the button and then you see the result. To answer your question, it's a bit risky. Okay, so it's you should not trust it like that. Of course, there should be a layer of verification always. All right.
I guess there are some examples that Fabian showed today where the value is filled automatically and you don't have a layer where the user gets to choose.
Oh,
In your example, I think it was there is a layer of...
yeah, there's a layer of verification.
Is there extensive dev docs with best practices?
Sorry?
Developer documents. Are there any? Is there any documentation? Keyword extensive.
No, unfortunately. But since I made the talk, I think it's time for me to write the documentation for it. So yeah.
How is the token consumption being invoiced to the end user? Through Odoo or directly through the LLM provider?
At the moment, any SaaS user, or I think every user that's using Odoo through SaaS or maybe SH, we are using our own key. So they are not charged, but you can use your own tokens and you'll be charged on all the tokens usage.
Okay. Is the AI module friendly to multiple company configuration? Does it take data from everything or does it separate companies, I'm guessing?
The power of the AI agent always depends on what you implement. Okay? So for example, we do have this info retrieval that we implemented. It's a bit powerful because it can do search. All right? So there's some, you need to be careful in these kinds of things. All right? But yeah, in principle, Odoo doesn't expose anything on its features. But if you did, if you created a feature, you have to be careful of not exposing this information.
Okay.
So it's still on you when you develop features.
Okay. AI is probabilistic. What happens if for some reason the provided schema is partially ignored? Same with tools. What if AI willingly ignores tools? Should the system prompt enforce tool usage or is this handled by the framework?
It is the developer's responsibility to handle this. I didn't put any try catch there, but you see the JSON loads part of the code. I should have, because it might give you a wrong. It might give XML, but most of the time, or at least in all of the use cases of my testing, it respects the schema.
Is there a log for AI execution? I mean, a way for checking tool calling, time spent, token consumption, etc.
In Odoo, yes, we have the logs, but for the tokens, they're just estimates. So here we put some we put some logging on the tool calls, etc. Okay, but there are more information if you declare a tool call via server actions. Okay.
The next one is with regard to your example. User's workload can also be computed and passed in the context of the LLM call. No?
Yes, but you will have to pass all of the user workload for each of the projects. So there will be more data that you need to put on the context, but you can. But it's not recommended.
Are there prerequisites to use AI module in local dev, macOS or Ubuntu, plus dependencies?
Yes, PG Vector.
Sorry?
PG Vector. You will have to install PG Vector in your computer.
Okay. External LLMs calls are risky if users, suppliers, client data is passed. Then external parties could be processing sensitive data, possibly a GDPR risk. Odoo being ERP has a lot of this data types. Maybe better to promote locally hosted open source models as opposed to external LLMs, or at least give warnings about data sensitivity.
Yeah, good point.
Okay. Are the calls? Okay, I'll skip that one. What is the standard structure to build the request data?
Standard structure to build the request data?
Yeah.
I don't memorize it.
Okay.
But you can see it from the code. But the OpenAI API has this information, right? Okay, among APIs, Gemini and OpenAI, they don't have any standard requirements for the request.
Okay.
You have to build them manually for each.
The next one is something you mentioned already. So are the calls to external LLMs free for Odoo enterprise instances or instead necessary to have your own API key?
Yeah, I think it's free for now, but I don't know when it will be charged.
We have like 10 seconds remaining. I don't think we're going to make another question. For on-premise, is the embedding vector stored in the database? I
Yes.
guess PG vector is
Yeah.
needed.
Embeddings are stored in the Odoo DB.
Okay.
In your DB. In your DB.
Thank you, Joseph.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.